So, a very warm welcome to everyone here for our member spotlight with Jonathan Davies of Jonathan Davies Photographic. Welcome, John.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. You?
Yes, I'm excellent. Thanks very much.
Good.
Shaking my boots here.
So, the clue is sort of in the title, but tell us a little bit more about the business, John.
The business, Jonathan Davies Photographic, started up in 2007. It was a frustrated passion of mine forever to be a photographer. And I had two passions when I was kind of, at school leaving age, and at that deciding age, cars and cameras. And I had one of those dads who was like, get a trade behind you, son. You'll be right. You get a trade behind you. So off we went to go and learn cars, but we still kept all the cameras. And I did study A-level in photography, which was great, but I also studied a lot more in cars. So I ended up being a motor technician, and then I ended up at the AA for 21 years at the AA.
Gosh.
Which was fantastic because I volunteered for the early shifts. And nobody broke down on the Wirral at 6 o'clock in the morning. So that got me some great sunrises. Absolutely. It really was a great opportunity to get some sunrises. Anyway, the idiots at the AA promoted me at the turn of the century. And that was okay. That was great. I really enjoyed that particular job. So for 5 years, it was great. Then we got taken over by one company. That was all right, Centrica. They weren't as bad as we thought they were going to be. Then a venture capitalist company came along, and they were hatchet guys, absolute nightmare people to work for. Open door policy, and everybody left.
Oh.
It was lots of people left at the top end. My boss, his boss. So it was just, and I didn't like the people I was going to be working for. So I left then. And the opportunities kind of, played around for a bit, doing different types of things. Ended up shooting my daughter's friend's wedding, and it was on film at the time because we were going back that far, obviously. And I took the photos in to get them developed, and I said, please look after them, they're wedding shots. And when I picked them up, I then noticed that this particular person who was running this shop was actually a wedding photographer as well. And I started looking at her stuff, and she looking at my photos, and she said, oh, these are quite good photos. I said, well, they're not really as good as yours, are they? So we had a good chat, and then I just walked out the door, and an immediate light bulb moment, and I walked back in, and I said, you don't fancy an apprentice, do you? So at the age of God knows what, I was an apprentice all over again.
Brilliant.
And I worked for this woman, or with this woman, for a year. Lovely lady, taught me lots of stuff about wedding photography. Weddings, yeah, they're about managing people. So that all that time at the AA was actually very beneficial because it was all down to customer service, which I brought into the business. And it's all about managing people. Yes, you've got to photograph, you've got to get your photos right, but you've got to manage people. So photos, portraits, that was my thing at the time. So then we started Jonathan Davies Photographic, and off we went. Then I got into networking, and the networks that I joined, unfortunately, it wasn't the best network that there is in the world. So I joined another one, but that was very, very commercial orientated, and it wasn't going to work with weddings. So that sent me in a commercial path. So that was pictures of people working, people with things, people making things, people interacting with customers, photographs of what they'd made. So that was builders, kitchen companies, and then people from the kitchen company said, we need videos. And this guy nagged me to do video. And in the end, I kind of conceded, and yeah, we joined in with a video. Then somebody else in that network said, well, I want one of these testimonial videos. and that just went ballistically bonkers. That one did. The guy only wanted to market to companies within a 1.5 to 2 hour distance from Bromborough. He ended up getting work in London off that,
Gosh, wow.
off the strength of that video, which was absolutely fantastic. So that's it. That's where I've kind of gone. I still, I love doing the commercial stuff. I love working with people, relaxing them in front of a camera. That's one of my big things. It really is, especially a video camera. People are bad enough in front of a still camera, but a video camera, they're just like, oh, rabbits
Yeah.
and lights.
Yeah.
Myself included, feel like that right now, to be honest.
You're a natural.
But I still love portraits. I still love working with dogs, with animals, with horses. So now and again, those portraits come along, the family portrait shoots, and I just love working with those. So,
Okay, so do you have some pictures with stories that you can share with us to bring to life, some of the things you really enjoyed working on recently?
absolutely. If I could share this screen with you. Now this fact, I know you know this guy, but this
Sure.
young lad is called Alex Staniforth. He's a young adventurer. And this particular adventure of his was that, believe it or not, but there are 100 counties in Great Britain, and in the UK, because he went to Northern Ireland as well. So yeah, 100 counties, and he climbed all 100 peaks, and he cycled between them all. And this was his final peak, Movama, celebrating. Now he's got a smile on his face. God only knows, because he was absolutely wrecked. But yeah, and he cycled between every peak as well, with the exception of the Isle of Wight, and he kayaked across the straits there. So that was a lovely picture to be involved in. And then I got involved in his next challenge as well, which was terrific, So.
And how did that come about, Jonathan?
That was networking, all down to networking. Guy I know as a PR man, used to work for the BBC, and he was doing his PR for Alex, and he just said, I need a photographer. Oh, I know one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that came about, that one. So this is Alex walking up the mountain. This is his chief sponsor, the Westgrove Group. I think they're a big cleaning company. So yeah, that was a nice shot to get for the two of them walking up. This was a great shot. Working for a marketing company in Cheshire, one of Cheshire's finest, to be honest, David Antrobus Marketing. And this started off taking pictures of gaskets at a place in Manchester. And it got bigger and bigger and bigger, this job. So we ended up working with people. I mean, this guy actually is making a gasket. It's a metal gasket. But yeah, there was some craftsman there, that was for sure. But in this brand new high-tech factory, he's still there with his hammer he's had for God knows how long. It's even got a broken shaft and everything, but he loved it, So that was a good one. Well, another shot for a marketing company. This was the brief was get sparks. And you think, yeah, okay, we'll do that. Well, honestly, trying to get sparks and trying to set yourself up with a welder is not actually as easy as you think. Because if anybody there knows about welding in any way, shape or form, you melt two pieces of metal, and at the right time, you bang, you put your welding rod in and you fuse it together. You cannot hung about, because you just end up with big holes in the metal and it's shot at completely. So you've just got to anticipate where they're going to be and get your shot. And that was the spark shot.
Brilliant.
And another one there as well. So that was a metal fabrication firm in Manchester. And it was following pieces of metal starting at one end right the way through to the finished article, which was trolleys for industrial warehouses. Great job that was. This was back to the gasket factory. Somebody setting the tooling up. Yeah, so it was all, high technical stuff. And yeah, they have these humongous machines to cut gaskets. You know, you'd think they would just be using a pair of scissors, but it's a bit more high tech than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. This was a great shot for a group of schools in Cheshire, and the way they worked, they got together. So it was a school for disabled children, and they were very disabled children, and they used to pool their resources. So if somebody needed a specific teacher with certain skills, then they would flip between different schools. So the idea with this was interactive pictures with kids, focusing on the teachers, because we wanted to kind of hide the kids' faces as much as we could do, you know.
Very good.
Um,
I recognise this, I think.
I think you recognise that, maybe. Yes, he just got his brand new gym. Come and get some shots for me. So yes, I've been one of Steve Cheney's willing volunteers. Well, I'm not sure about willing, but anyway, one of his volunteers. Yeah.
Victims, volunteer, victim.
Yes, it's a V word anyway, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but he's got a lovely gym down there in at Alford, isn't it? Yeah. He's got another one now. So off the back of that, yeah. And there he is. Yes, sporting himself off there. Shots for a financial advisor. So we did a kind of whole mosaic of shots for them. But one, he did particularly like this one because it was just kind of showing him concentrating on what he concentrates on best. This is a lady who is a mentor, coach, business coach. That's it, business coach. And she did a massive tour on this bike. I'm not sure it was that bike or another bike that was very similar to that one. Anyway, she kind of did a huge talk about this tour of Britain that she did, and that was the cover of a book that she wrote.
Very good.
So yeah, that's a bit different, isn't it? Yeah,
it is.
That's actually a famous tree, and one of the most famous golf courses in the world. I'm actually stood on Pebble Beach Golf Course taking that picture of their tree. So that's the Pacific, and we're in Carmel, I think it is, Pebble Beach Golf Club. It was absolutely beautiful.
Amazing.
Yeah. Trip up to Alnwick Castle. So this has been in so many movies. This is famously where Harry Potter learned to fly a broomstick, and also in Downton Abbey as well, which I have to sit down and watch with my mother.
You're a good son.
This was for a kitchen company, and they'd done some stuff, and come and get some shots of the kitchen. So that was some stuff for them. Now this was I put these in specifically. This was a February morning, and this brief was for a company in Wrexham, and what we were doing here was, it was an architectural company, and the website company had employed me for the architectural company. So we were all going around together at various projects that this company had done. And this was a care home in Wrexham, I think it was. And it was a dull, yucky kind of day, and all of the skies were that colour. So we'd got specific permission to take all pictures of all of these places that we went to go and visit. But the next day, we had skies like that.
Wow.
And
different.
The difference. So the web guy was immediately on the phone. You couldn't go back out there and just I'll ring a couple of people and we'll just get a couple of shots. So that was one house that was specifically built for a disabled person. So that's why it's just flat to the ground, wheelchair access straight in. A barn conversion that they did, which was absolutely breathtakingly stunning. I want to go and live in a barn. Honestly, it was gorgeous. It really was gorgeous. This was an interior of one of an extension that they'd done, and that it was one of the insides of the barn conversion. Look
Wow.
at that! It was breathtaking. Honestly, that was huge. That room, huge, gorgeous, and that was the bedroom in the barn conversion. Yeah, really was special. That. This was a lovely job. I got paid to do this. I can't believe I got paid to do this. Um, Company rang up and just straight off my website, this was, and they were working for Irish Ferries. Irish Ferries had got a bit of bad press about quite a few breakdowns, and their biggest ship, the Ulysses, at the time, was going into Camelades for a refit. It was having brand new propellers, new steering. It was a massive refit, millions
Mm-hmm.
of pounds, millions of pounds. Can you go and get some pictures of things getting fixed, things being repaired,
Brilliant.
and scale? We need scale. Well, it's not difficult when you're underneath a ship to get scale.
Yeah.
That was a great job, and there we are getting scale.
Wow.
So
Fantastic.
yeah, absolutely love that job. So I'd got my guided tour. That big wall that you can see on the far left-hand side. So if you look at the blue compressor
Mm-hmm.
and you look to the wall, that's actually the Mersey behind that wall.
Oh, wow.
So
Gosh.
that's the bit that moves
Yeah.
across, and there's the river at full tide. So they literally sail them into these docks and then just evacuate the water. They've got all of the props in position on the ground, and that's it. The ship just comes down, and then that's
And
it.
Jonathan, just with that, when you've got something, they clearly had, you know, they were cognizant of the bad PR they were getting because of breakdowns, and they were then investing in, a massive repair refit job. How do you then distill? We need some photos to have that clarity to go. It's all about scale.
Yeah, I think
Can you recall how
the
that all came about?
I think the whole thing was like I said, they had the bad press in one way around or another, and um, the idea that they wanted to put these pictures out there, um, you know, before the ship was getting relaunched again, um, after the refit, so people could then see that the massive investment that Irish Ferries had put into that ship, um, humongous investment. Like I say, it was painted from top to bottom, including the bottom.
Gosh.
These that where those two guys are working, where the sparks are, those are these what they call these thrusters. So that makes them maneuver in the port, so they can go sideways,
Hmm.
go sideways. Absolutely so skillful watching all of these things going on. But of course, these pictures were then invaluable to them to be able to portray the fact that all this work was being carried out on their big ship. And of course, then the pictures were out there, and when it was out sailing again, it was chock a block. It
Hmm.
was fully booked,
Hmm.
ready to go again.
Very good.
Yeah. Um, this is a lovely job. At Cheshire again. Somebody likes lining up prop shafts, and this was a very proud storm in this. So off we went to a prop shaft place again, working for a marketing agency, and this was a prop shaft manufacturer. So all of those little what they call yokes there,
Hmm.
they're part of a prop shaft, and they made prop shafts, tiny things which would be um, on small toy tractor engines, as it were, right up to huge ones which were going onto trains and trucks and all sorts, and they refurbished them and such a high standard. But what they wanted to demonstrate here was that they had a huge stock, so that they could supply and keep supplying, and that was the whole point of
Hmm.
the size. So that was what they were showing there. This was a good shoot. This was somebody lending us their trucks, which was quite bizarre. So there's a company in Cheshire in Winsford, and the shoot is actually for Falcon tyres. It's not for Volvo trucks; it's for Falcon
Ah,
tyres.
right, okay.
And off I went down to this place in Winsford, and then we had to find the trucks with the Falcon tyres on, because they seem to have a mosaic of different tyres on all these different trucks. And then you got to one and it's all scuffed on the side. So we needed to find one that you could clearly see the word Falcon and the all the different numbers on the side. And there we found one. So we got it painted up and got
Yeah,
somebody.
cleanest tyre ever.
Yes, absolutely. Vets. I spent a lot of time with a vet company. I got a great job. Started as their man in Cheshire, and I ended up in working in Lancashire, working across in Yorkshire. But who'd have thought that dogs, I think this is a dog, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
have acupuncture,
Mm-hmm.
but they do. And there we have a dog having acupuncture, which is quite bizarre, isn't it? Yes, everybody likes a cute cat
Oh.
picture, don't they? But he's actually having his blood pressure taken there. Yeah, that was crazy. Honestly, the things they got up to, it was a brilliant job that was. Because to get involved and get just the opportunity to take these pictures, this one probably being one of my favorites. And this particular surgeon, he is a specialist in greyhounds. And greyhounds would come from, in fact, well, the owners would bring the greyhounds. They wouldn't come on their own, the greyhounds. But people would bring their greyhounds to this guy in Cheshire. And it was up to him whether they would race or not. He would, see if they'd fix them. And the
Gosh.
amazing surgeries he did. He showed me some of the pins that he put into,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw this one with 4 pins going into a dog's leg. And I'm looking at this thinking, oh my God, and he's like, yeah, that's great. That's healed fantastic. He'll run again. So here he is repairing. Again, we've got a greyhound there. He only ever seemed to really work on greyhounds. That was his thing. And like I say, the great opportunity to get these shots. So it is actually a proper surgery that's going on there. It's not a fake thing at all.
Mm-hmm.
And there, I'm having to say to this nurse, could you just lift your elbow out a little bit further, because I can get it a bit further, just so I could get those both scalpels in.
So for all those people that always tell me that they can't possibly niche or know who they want to be doing business with, we need to be telling them the greyhound vet surgeon story.
Absolutely. Now that is the ultimate niche. Yeah, definitely. And this one was again the same company, this huge vet company. This was up in near Blackpool. Yeah. So they waited for this girl to come in the afternoon shift because she was their poster girl. And that was a local one for me. So this particular Miller and Carter, they had a refit. It was a well-used one, and obviously these refits for these places, they must cost an arm and a leg.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted shots of their bar, their restaurant. So we got a number of these, and yeah, they were very proud of the booze that they and everything that went on there. And the one disappointing thing was they never got a voucher from them. I really was disappointed in that. And that's my little slideshow there, yeah.
Very good. So you've surprised me somewhat if you are happy to stop sharing your screen there. So I know that you'll have come to this with I do all my commercial stuff, but I know there are, you've got a huge swathe of prints on your website as well. So do you want to play a game?
Go for it.
Okay, excellent. Good. So I'm going to pick some pictures and you can tell us where they are and why you took that shot, if that's okay. So let's go with, I like that one actually. This one, the trolley in the alleyway.
The trolley in the alley. That is in Dubrovnik. That is in Dubrovnik. So one of the things about being a photographer is you've always got your camera with you. No matter where you go, you've always got your camera with you. And sometimes I can drive my beloved nuts. And she kind of stands in the background and waits for me to take a picture. So then I'll go through a phase of leaving the camera alone and not touching it. Then she'll say to me, well, why aren't you taking any pictures? Well, I don't want to drive you nuts. No, come on, spend some time taking some pictures. So off we went to Dubrovnik for the day. We were holidaying in Croatia, and it was amazing. This place, absolutely amazing, gorgeous, really stunning, but so busy. Tip: if ever anybody's going to somewhere like Dubrovnik, is look at apparently there's an app where you can track ships in a port, and
Ah, right.
just like you can track planes in the sky,
Yeah.
you can also track ships as well. And there were 6 cruise
Oh
lines,
gosh, right, okay. That's
and
a
of
lot of
course
people then.
that's a lot of people. It was chocker. So this is one of the few quiet alleyways, but I just love the fact that that trolley was in that alleyway as well.
Very good. Okay, let's go. Ooh, car art. Is this new? I've not seen this before.
Well, this is very, very new.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's go headlamp then. I'm liking that.
headlamp. Now this is a special car, this particular one. So been in my past of 21 years in the AA. The AA got this car, which was made in 1905. It's a Renault VB Phantom something or other. But the significance of the 1905 was that was the year that the AA was founded, when they started walking in
Okay.
front of cars with red flags. So they actually bought the registration AA1 to go on it. And so, yeah, I went to this particular car show, and there was a big AA stand because I'd left the AA at this particular point, but a friend of mine was still working there, and he got us tickets to go down to Silverstone to this big massive car show, and the AA had got a big stand on there, and they'd taken AA1 with them as well as a reflection of the cars.
Brilliant.
So I did my so that's why you've kind of got yellow in the background there.
Mhm.
There's always a patrol van knocking
Mhm.
around somewhere,
Mhm.
the yellow van.
Lovely. Okay, I'm going to ask, of course, about Chester because I know I think you took some needling from members to actually get this on your website, did you not?
I did indeed. I did indeed. I was
So let's
sharing some
talk. You
pictures.
pick this time rather than me pick.
Was that bridge? Oh, let's talk about that bridge. Yes.
This one?
Again, any other bridge, to be honest, because this actually shows my age. This bridge. I wasn't there when it was built, but apparently, when I was 3 or 4 years old, I walked under that bridge when the River Dee was frozen.
Oh wow. Gosh.
So now that apparently people were driving cars on the river.
Gosh,
It was
wow.
that frozen. When we got home, apparently my mum went ballistic. But just to show the difference in school days these days, teachers were taking their whole classes out to go and walk on the river.
Mhm.
Can you imagine teachers
No.
trying to do that in today's world? That's never going to happen, is it? But this particular shot was taken at dawn. I love getting up in the dawn at dawn. Probably not in the midsummer because you're talking of 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So like a proper maybe 5 or 6 o'clock. That's
Sure.
more, yeah, it's
Yeah.
more palatable, isn't it? But it's always quiet, and then of course as you get towards winter, the river gets colder, so it gets slower. And that's when you end up with such good reflections in the river.
Ah, right. Okay. Very good. And finally, just because I'm sure we're all missing it to some extent, coastal. Which one shall we pick on this? Do you want to choose? How about this one?
Surreal Lindisfarne, yeah. Now I was talking with one of our members about this the other day, Lisa Barnes, and funny enough, as we were talking, I was in her studio, and I said, "Well, what about pictures that have had a real colour push?" So there, we've got that famous landmark of the island, but we've got teal coloured grass.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, I've just kind of pushed the colour boundaries and played around with that in Photoshop to give it those
Ah,
special colours.
very
So
good.
yeah, that's what that's about. But of course, as Lisa said, everybody's different.
Yep.
Somebody will hate it, somebody will love it.
Yep.
It's exactly like the Turner Art Prize, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
something for everybody,
Yeah.
and that's what life's about, isn't it? With when in the art world.
Very good. So I'd encourage everyone to go and take a look because you've got obviously your art collection, but then you've got your portraits. So I know you've talked a lot about commercial today in video, but I also know that lots of members have had either dog portraits or family portraits or modelling sessions. So go take a look because you can do lots with Jonathan as well as learning about photography. Tell us a little bit about that as well.
Yes, I mean I've been working with cameras a long time, just a very long time, and it's great to be able to teach and pass this on. And I can I can make a course to suit any individual's needs. So from right from the basics, as it were, um, this is how you switch the camera on. This is what the cards are for. This is what a lens does. This is all the different aspects of that. Right the way through to composing shots, to making shots push light into the darkness, and vice versa, and create some incredible shots in daylight, capture stunning waterfalls, slow the water down, make silky water if you want to. And of course, everybody kind of different in what they want to learn. So tailoring a course for each individual is great to be able to say, right, okay, what should we concentrate on in this particular session? And right, let's practice that, and off we go, and practice a particular field of photography, and talk them through their camera. If they haven't got a camera, I can actually lend them a camera to kind of start with, and you kind of go from there. And if anybody needs help buying a camera, I will go and hold somebody's hand to go and buy the camera because I mean, I've been in camera shops before now, and they've kind of pushed me in a certain direction. I knew full well I didn't want to go in that
Yeah.
direction, but they must have been on quite a sales drive in this particular manufacturer. I'm not going to say who it was by any stretch of the imagination, but I did not want to go in that direction. And it's good to have that voice which is completely neutral to say,
Yeah.
no, this is a good one, or that's a good one, or actually, no, he's selling you a blooming donkey there. So
And I can vouch for that because I've got my lovely pre-owned camera that I've been dabbling with. So I should be coming for a refresher with you at some point when you can see the successes and not so successes that I've been taking shots of.
it's all a learning curve.
So Jonathan, how can you've been a member just for over a year now with the network. So how can the network carry on sort of supporting you and helping you?
I think it's just keeping ears open is the most important thing. Marketing agencies are great for me because they're the ones that are working with companies that need their websites making. So that's a great opportunity for me. Marketing companies. I mean, I know we've got some marketing companies in the network, and yes, I've been in conversations with some of them. Marketing directors, marketing managers, again, with companies that kind of look after this themselves, the marketing managers are the ones that say, right, okay, well, we need some headshots for our group of solicitors. So right, okay, let's get a photographer in. Oh, I know a photographer, and that's it. I know a photographer who can come and help you out and get some great stuff for you. Probably, like I say, one of the most important things, especially when working with people, is just being relaxed and helping people to get relaxed in front of the camera it's as important as any other aspect of photography, getting the person relaxed, because that's the only way you're going to get the best out of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is.
Very good.
Yeah.
What question have I not asked you that I should have done?
I've got no idea whatsoever in that particular case. But yeah, I mean, the treasured memories. That's another one. You know, as far as the families are concerned, I've taken pictures for families that they can treasure for years to come. And sometimes, you know, you get to a point in your family's life, you know, just before the kids go to high school or just before the kids go to university. Those kind of key moments are kind of important in somebody's life. And the point to say, right, okay, let's get some shots now. Because once the kids are kind of grown up, well, they've grown up.
Yeah.
And you've got something on your phone that somebody may have taken. So that's a good time to kind of get,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And pets too. I know
And
you love your
pets
pets.
too, you know,
Yeah.
however big the pets are. So let's get this one across. See if you can get away with a
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yes, there we are. This was a beautiful picture. I absolutely love this. Young lady with her horse, whose name her name was Jade, and I've forgotten what the horse's name was.
I think that's forgivable. I think if you'd remembered the horse's name and not Jade's name, that would not be so forgivable.
Probably right, yeah. Probably right.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for your time this morning and for sharing some of your portfolio. We'll make sure that people can get the details of how to get in touch with you. And once again, thank you, John.
And thank you very much for the opportunity, Tracy. Very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.